Getting in. Double Rally of Wings? GG. All right, folks. That's why you want to play this to get your daily wins in. Greetings, everyone. I am glad you are here, and I am glad to be here. Today's deck, of course, is a continuation of our Saturday series on budget decks. So, not tier deck, but maybe debatable as to whether or not it's a jank deck or not, which is a little out of character for me. Normally, my channel is basically all about jank and playing crazy things and all that stuff. But I want to, with this series, open up not just Arena, although I think that's important, but the format of Historic to newer players who may not have a great deal of wild cards to work with. So in an effort to do that, we've started a budget series where we can explore decks that you can start with and then gradually upgrade or even graduate from as you've accrued wins, okay? Because one of the most important things about the client is getting your daily wins in so that you can earn gold and experience for the mastery tree and all that stuff and unlock cards, okay? So with this series, I have been affording myself very, very few rares. In this case, there are only 4 rares in the main deck. This deck improved a great deal with the rare lands. Any number of the rare lands would be a huge upgrade here. Most of you will have at least 1 or 2 of these rare lands. Depending on how long you've been playing, you may have gotten a Hallowed Fountain or Glacial Fortress, or maybe both, in the starter decks. And just having even 1 or 2 of those would make this deck a lot better, and your experience playing the deck will be improved a great deal if you could include those. But they're notably absent here, again, just to keep the rare wild cards down, and that's all. The only 4 rares in the deck are indeed Skycat Sovereign. I think this card is actually quite important to the archetype because it is, first of all, one of the cards that gives us a very, very quick path to victory. 2 mana 1/1 gets 1/1 for each other creature you control with flying. You can then pay for and create a creature with flying. So it is very big, very quickly, and can make you an army, let's say post board sweeper or something like that, should the game start to go longer. It's also relevant that normally this archetype thrives on cards like Favorable Winds. Creatures you control with flying get +1/+1, and doubling up the power on all of these really, really small creatures. That is still true. We also have Empyrean Eagles. Both of these uncommons. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. Growing all of these creatures, very, very important. But this one is sort of like that card, only instead of growing all of your creatures, this just grows itself. So it gets 1/1 for each other creature. So it affords us an opportunity to go tall. It is true, this one card is susceptible to removal, as is our Empyrean Eagle, but it is also one of those cards that will often need to be chump blocked and things in the air. If our opponent's got like a Gilded Goose, they can't just, let all that damage through and things like that. It is a very, very strong magic card. So I do think if you're going to build this deck, you need to strongly consider having as many of these as you can, up to even the 4 copies I've got included here. That said, beyond that, we just have some 1/1 flyers. Keeler's Hawk, Faerie Guidemother, the 2/1 flyer that can't attack or block alone, Loyal Pegasus, Siren Stormtamer for both a little bit of interaction to save our creatures, but also just a 1/1 flyer, Spectral Sailor for card draw in the later game, but also, importantly, 1/1 flyer. Nightveil Sprite as a one-of, rounding out the fact I didn't think we really needed the 4th Winged Words. We really want to stay aggressive, and this does give us a little control over our draws, which is nice. When it attacks, Surveil 1. And then our synergy pieces to bring it all together are, of course, Skycat Sovereign, which I've kind of gushed about a little bit, as well as the Empyrean Eagle and the Favorable Winds, which I have already touched on. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. The last notable card here is Rally of Wings. It is untap all creatures you control. creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until the end turn. This is often our Alpha Strike capability. If we are attacking with 4 1/1s, we don't have any of our other synergy pieces out, we just have 4 of our little 1/1s, that would normally be 4 damage. But if we give all 4 of those 1/1s +2/+2, I'm not very good at math, but that's 3, 6, 9, 12 damage. So if you've attacked with a 1/1 and they've taken 1, and then you've attacked with 2 1/1s the next turn, now they've taken 3 damage, and then you attack with 4 1/1s, or I'm sorry, 3 1/1s the following turn, and then 4. Like, the damage starts to adds up, and then you will just be able to strike them down, even without all of these other synergy pieces here. This, a very, very powerful Magic card. It's also relevant that with Healer's Hawk, gaining lifelink can keep us in the game against things like Mono Red and things like that, right? Very, very relevant indeed. Okay, the sideboard, this is not intended as best of 3 deck. These are all cards that I would consider adding if we were talking about a non-budget version. These are all the rares that you might potentially upgrade. I will discuss those at the end of the video, but I wanted to put them here so that if you were just stopping in to look at the deck list and you were going to jet, I'm not going to deny you a potential upgrade path. But I do encourage you, watch the video, see what you would, see if you enjoy it, and then also wait until the end, and I'll explain each of these card choices in detail at that time. That said, let's get some gameplay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are up against Zenitari. And yeah, we're going to keep this. Hand looks pretty good. The Loyal Pegasus's Pegasi not being able to attack alone is really unfortunate. But, it is what it is. Opponent having Duskborn Sky Marcher over here. Not a commonly seen vampire. All right, I guess let's get down to Sky Marcher, or I mean Skycat Sovereign, because next turn we can both Loyal Pegasus and Favorable Winds, and we can attack for kind of a lot, which is definitely really nice. Definitely really nice. Loyal Pegasus, Favorable Winds, and we're going to swing for 7. This is not game over by any means for our opponent, but they are in a lot of trouble here with the fact that we have, oh, Veto. That's a scary one. All right, creating a 1/1. Sure. We will take our 2. Down to 18. Well, darn it, folks. We, oh, that was wrong, wasn't it? Yeah, we were supposed to play the planes. Okay, I was going to say, if they don't block, we're going to kill them. But I kind of expected them to block. They didn't, so it doesn't matter. If they did block, we were just going to be able, or if we played one of our other lands, a planes there. The reason that was, again, a very, very small pun, was if they did choose to block Skycat Sovereign, which would have been wise, we weren't going to be able to kill them. So we would have, instead of firing off Rally the Wings, just make them take a nice chunk of damage and then make a 1/1 with the Skycat Sovereign, which of course is a 2/2 because of the favorable winds and everything for next turn. And that just makes our Rally of Wings that much better next turn, right? So it's not a big deal, especially considering the opponent didn't end up blocking anyway. But if you find yourself in that situation, I would consider, I think I would do it the other way, right? But either way, definitely one of those times when a rare land would have been better. But good game, opponent, good game. All right, folks, here we are. Let's keep this one. And we're going to start on Loyal Pegasus. Pass the turn over to our opponent. It's a Fervent Champion. Oh boy, that's a scary magic card. Yep, we will take our damage. And oh boy, actually that's a really good one. So let's do this and pass with the Spectral Sailor up. Really need to draw a land here so we can slam an Empyrean Eagle. If we don't, we could be in a little bit of trouble. Oh boy, the opponent has a Kiln Fiend? Shoot, we could lose here. Okay, there we go. Well, that's a good one. Opponent drops to 12. We are ahead in the race, but this Kiln Fiend is terrifying. And Deadall says, nope, we can't do enough. GG. And in fact, that is entirely reasonable. That is why we do this, folks. Sometimes you just get these draws where you just go off and kill your opponent in a hurry. Deadhall recognizing they can't race this. So GG, Deadhall. GG. Oh, shoot. Folks, I meant to mulligan that. Man, I really wish we had rare lands here. Okay, well, that saves the game. That was about to be horrific. Thought Erasure? Oh my gosh, we're up against another control deck. Folks, our deck does not want to face a control deck. Our deck can't win against a control deck. Not unless we can get down early. And of course, our rare land of choice being a tapped land. Not going to do it, unfortunately. Opponent, come on. Thank you. Let's do this. We're here to get some wins in, darn it. Yeah. All right, Skycat Sovereign, go. Altar of the Pantheon. Oh, wait. Maybe they're not on control. What is going on over there? All right. Well, let's do this. Hit our opponent real solid. Get some lifelink down. Opponent has Tranquil Grove. Vanishing Lights are Sky Sovereign. All right. Hey, okay, that's a good one. Well, we are going to Empyrean Eagle, Faerie Guidemother. Get in for 2 lifelink. Next turn, we can both Favorable Winds and Rally of Wings if they don't sweep our board here. If they do sweep our board, I think we just lose. I think that is what it is. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, though, with Vanishing Lights and Altar of the Pantheon and stuff, I'm led to believe that they're probably doing something enchantment-driven. No! Stop! Folks, we want to play our cards, dang it. Losing Favorable Winds is absolutely catastrophic here. Absolutely catastrophic. Yep. All right. Do not have a board sweeper. Please don't. All right. Fine. I guess we're just gonna get the damage through. This does afford us the opportunity to cast Spectral Sailor on their end step. They take a good chunk of damage here. Drop to 7. We've got 3 more on board, unless they board sweep, and at least a guaranteed 1. And if they do sweep our board, we can play the Spectral Sailor and draw a card next turn, which is kind of nice. Faerie Hero of Dominaria. That card is really annoying. All right. Faerie Hero of Dominaria going up, drawing a card, going to... Okay, well, we are going to cast a Spectral Sailor then, so that they don't have counter magic available to kill our Spectral Sailor. Not kill, counter our Spectral Sailor. Yeah, indeed. All right. Going to hit our opponent down to 4. And pass. It is true that we have a lot of 1-drops in here. So the most likely scenario is we draw another land or we draw a 1-drop. But yeah, even if we drew a 1-drop, I'm not sure we would want to play it. Our opponent very, very likely to have a board sweeper here. And in fact, they did. So, unfortunate. So we've got to draw our 1-drop that can't attack alone. We are going to play our land because we do have Skycat Sovereigns in the deck. So having at least 6 mana, very important. We can both play Skycat Sovereign and activate it in the same turn. Running out of time, folks. Running out of time in a hurry. Sanctum of Calm Waters. Our opponent is just all about the value over there. Hey! We did it, folks. Please don't counterspell me, bro. Oh, thank heavens. Alright. Opponent going to draw a card. Discard a card. Hits a land. They get rid of a Drowned Catacomb. They have Disinformation Campaign. They are going to draw a card. We are going to discard a card, but we don't have any cards to discard, so not a big deal. On our end, did they get a board sweeper? No. They got an Elspeth's Nightmare, though. Going to hit our Skycat Sovereign, but that's not going to work. Because it will not be power 2 or less. And is that GG? GG, opponent? We got him! Holy cow, folks. I didn't expect that to go. Our opponent definitely had a whole bunch of resources. I am not sure what our opponent was trying to accomplish there. There's definitely some enchantment synergies. Clearly. Some surveil synergies. We've got the Teferi here. I think they just were missing their enchantment payoff is what was going on, is what I expect. So they're kind of like surveil synergy deck with like Disinformation Campaign, returning it, casting it, returning it, casting it. Disinformation Campaign surveil is very, very, very strong. But, you know, I think they were just missing a couple of their key pieces there. Either way, good game, Kuskin. Good game. All right, folks. Here we are up against Desert Monkey, and we will keep this hand. The double Rally of Wings, very, very strong way of winning the game. Admittedly, the all white land and only white hand and only one white land, a little awkward. But I think that's okay. We are going to do this. We would really like to draw a white land next turn. If we draw a white land, we can Loyal Pegasus and Favorable Winds in the same turn, and that would be great. But Favorable Windsing up a Healer's Talk just doesn't do much, right? It gets 1 more damage in. That's true. So we'll be down at 18. But next turn, being able to attack with this deals not just 1 damage, but an additional damage. So it's damage neutral, right? Birth of Melodus over there, leading me to believe our opponent may be on some kind of controlling style deck. Which is not great, but let's try and make the game quick, shall we? We do have a 2-turn clock here, as long as our opponent doesn't gain any life or kill any creatures. Okay, so that's not the case anymore. Or anywhere close to the case. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Alright, don't... Don't kill us. Opponent gaining life up to 11. Gaining life up to 13. Good grief. What? Where is all this life gain coming from? Okay, I think this is all right. Getting in. Double Rally of Wings? GG. All right, folks. That's why you want to play this to get your daily wins in. I did not play any of the games that you see, or the wins or losses, with this version of the deck. This is a more optimized version while still being budget. And I wanted to kind of give you a demonstration of what that might look like, because in the last version, you know, we did the deck tech at the beginning of the video. You'll remember we were on 20 lands, but that's mainly because we didn't have the good lands, right? So one of the first, probably the first upgrade you need to get is some number of these all the way up to 4. Before I would worry about anything else in the deck, I would worry about these. With keen eyes, we'll also note another change here. Rather than our, you know, we have a Nightveil Sprite, but this is just a Warkite Marauder. So this is another card that I would make a change in the main deck as soon as possible. It is not as important as Skycat Sovereign. Get all 4 of these first. This card is just so light years ahead of Warkite Marauder. But make no mistake, Warkite Marauder is a strong magic card. 2/1 flying for 2 is already just not that bad. That is a pretty okay rate. Yes, technically speaking, we can get that rate for 1, but this one doesn't have any qualifiers. It can attack all by itself, thank you very much. But it also has upside. Target creature defending player controls loses all abilities and has base power and toughness 0/1 until the end of turn. One of the ways you can lose this is silly things, like Gilded Goose, for instance, might be able to block your Skycat Sovereign that's coming in as like a 7/7 or something, right? And the Gilded Goose will jump in front, and then you'll lose by a couple of points of life because your Skycat Sovereign was able to be chunked. The fact that Warkite Marauder can turn that Gilded Goose into a 0/1 without any abilities, that includes no flying, right? So it makes sure to get those pesky little blockers out of the way. So making this, or getting this next, would be at least my own personal recommendation. Nightveil Sprite also could eventually go away, maybe in favor of another Warkite Marauder, perhaps, if you were so inclined. But again, back to what I was discussing, we had 20 lands. So my initial change was add the Warkite Marauder, add just one more Winged Words. This is to help make sure we do at least hit the 3rd land for Empyrean Eagle and things. Make sure to refill, particularly maybe post-board wipe or something like that, right? What are some other changes you might be able to do in addition to that, or maybe instead of that, or heavens, you might have opened some of these cards and you might just have them laying around. Okay, the first one I would like to mention is Temple of Enlightenments are better than Tranquil Grove. The 1 life just does not matter to this deck very often. You are going to win in most racing situations, especially with the Healer's Hawk getting bigger and giving you, or having lifelink and stuff. It's just a really nice way of going about it. And it is only relevant in, like, probably the only time this is really actually relevant is in the mono red matchup, and even then 1 life is typically not going to do it. It really can. 1 is not 0, but it's more rare. So the scry, though, is almost always relevant. Yes, sometimes you do go top, but when you play this land, unless it is on the play turn 1, which you're already in good shape, this deck wants to be on the play, you know what your opponent's playing, so the scry will help you find cards that matter in this particular matchup. Maybe that's just find more lands. Maybe that's I kept a 3-lander and there's another land on top. Get rid of that thing. Maybe it's I think my opponent's running counter spells. So I'm going to need to find maybe some more card advantage, or additional ways of pumping the creatures and instant speed things. Maybe you just want that card advantage. You're scrying for Skycat Sovereigns or Spectral Sailors so that you have mana dumps because you've already got lots of mana. These are all things that matter, right? So this is, if you have these laying around as well, which again, since they're in standard, you very well may, this is 100% better than the Tranquil Cove, in my opinion, if you are not yet able to get these lands, right? So just wanted to make sure to get that out there in the clear. But another place you might go relatively immediately is here to Sapphire Sky's Blade. This is not definitively the answer. I think a much more aggressive version, excluding this card, might be just as good or better, depending on how you're able to sculpt your 60. But as a 1-of or a 2-of, this card is insanely strong. 7/7 flying lifelink. You may tap 4 untapped creatures you control with flying rather than pay its mana cost. Other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. So you no longer just lose to board wipes, right? The problem with this card for me is that most of the time, if you have 4 other creatures, you know what I want? Not to be tapping them. I want to be turning them sideways to attack, right? Because we've got Empyrean Eagles already. We've got Favorable Winds already. We've got Rally of Wings already. We have lots of ways of paying off having 4 creatures in play. Let's just attack our opponent and make them die, right? But it can be really, really cool slamming this 7/7 flying lifelink, giving your other people indestructible. Again, protecting you from board wipes some is very relevant. This deck has a hard time with board wipes, so it is worth considering. Another card you may have some of from Standard is Brazen Borrower. Having maybe 1 or like 2 of these or so is kind of nice. It gives you some interaction in the main. It gives you a very large body. A 3/1 flying is no joke. All by itself, it can win games, right? Especially when it does benefit from things like Favorable Winds and things like that, right? But it is kind of expensive, and this deck wants to be low to the ground. I don't think you want the full 4 of these, even in the most optimized version of this. Now, I'm sure somebody might be able to present me the list, and I'll go, you know what? It turns out Brazen Borrower is a good card. You were right. 4 Brazen Borrower is right in this specific list. If you come up with that list, definitely let me know. I'm more than willing to have a look, and I would be excited about that. But at least in a version as aggressive as the one we're running with this many 1-drops, yes, you counted correctly, folks. 20 1-drops. When you're that aggressive, I don't think we want this many, or we want a 3-drop in this manner. Right? In that same way, some of these other recommendations are suspect because of the mana cost and the mana cost alone. Thought I would bring up, there are a couple of them. And the first one is Pride of Conquerors. Creatures you control get 1/1. If you have the City's Blessing, which is having 10 permanents out, those creatures get +2/+2 instead. Worth noting, if you really felt like you needed another Rally of Wings effect, by the time we have 10 permanents, though, that's like, I don't know, whatever, 5 creatures, 5 lands. The game's either over or it's over, right? We either won or we lost, typically. So that's why it's not in here, and I haven't really recommended it. One that you could very, very stoutly consider, though, is Basri's Solidarity. I was going to put this one over here, and I didn't. I'll move it over. But I don't know why I didn't put it over there. I'm a fool sometimes. Basri's Solidarity, though. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. It is not a lord. Most of the time, Empyrean Eagle is a creature, beats down. Favorable Winds benefits both creatures on the board and future creatures that get cast. Basri's Solidarity does not. But, as I mentioned earlier, there are maybe heavier white builds that you could potentially put together, including things like Tomic. In those cases, you very well should include Basri's Solidarity. It's also possible, maybe you're just like, you know what? Forget all this nonsense. I want to be aggressive. I want to beat down. I don't care about Nightveil Sprites. I don't care about Warkite Marauders. I don't care about Winged Words. Let's just go with like 4 Basri's Solidarity and, I don't know, maybe a couple of those Hushbringers I was singing their praises of. And we just get even more aggressive yet, right? Where we have, we've got room for like 6. So like 4 Basri's Solidarity, 2 Hushbringer, and holy cow, we're just coming at them hard and fast, and win, lose, or draw, the game is over by turn 4, right? There is a very strong case for that. I went this way on purpose. I don't necessarily regret it, but I would not fault you for saying, throw caution to the wind. Let's win some games. This will win you some games. So worth considering. All right, I've gone long in the wrap up because I am passionate about this deck. I think it can be a lot of fun, and I think it can win you a lot of Magic games. But I wanted to real quick mention I do have a Twitch stream. I stream 5 days a week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I take Fridays and Saturdays off. So tonight I will not be streaming. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, at 6 p.m. Central Time in the United States. That's Chicago time if you have to look it up. I'm going to be streaming, and I'd love to have you. We have a great community put together, and it's just a wonderful time being able to interact with my viewers. And, honestly, I call them viewers, but they're my friends. And I'd love to have you join them. I'm always looking for more friends. So come on out. It would be great to have you. And then lastly, if you wouldn't mind, I know everybody asked for this, but I'm going to explain why. If you could like and subscribe, it means the world. That is how YouTube can tell if they're going, or if they need to recommend my videos or not. If my video is good, people will like and subscribe. If my video is not good, people will not like and subscribe, right? So if you enjoyed it, it does me a huge favor to just hit those little buttons. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost any money or anything. And it does help me a lot. So I really appreciate it if you could handle that. Either way, though, I will catch you next time.